Hey friends, Miss Lynn from the Action Arts and Science program at the Washington Pavilion, and we are on to another one of our 5 senses today, and this one is sight. Now there's so many things that we could talk about with sight and our eyes. It's a very complex process to explain how what we see gets to our brain, and I'm not going to go into that today. We're just going to have some fun activities that deal with things that we are looking at. But in a nutshell, sight or vision is basically taking an object that we see, the light that is reflected off of that into our eye. A whole bunch of stuff happens inside our eye to it, and then it goes to our brain. And as we've talked about before, as you get older and as you age and learn about new things, you remember what you see. So those images are something that you are used to or familiar with. You'll remember them more. And so the 2 activities we're going to do today are with things that we are very familiar with, okay? This first one is called tiny foods. Now we're not going to eat again because we're not doing taste, but we're going to make tiny foods out of clay, or out of Model Magic. And we're going to do this kind of in a backwards style from a pop artist who liked to take normal size objects and make them very large in his art. So I'm going to show you a couple pictures of what he has done. So the artist's name is Klaus Oldenburg, and he's an American sculptor, and he would take normal objects like this cherry on a spoon or a clothespin or a bowling pin, and he would make very large sculptures or even furniture-like sculptures. So they look like chairs, they look like other things that you might use in your house. Now they're art, so we wouldn't actually use them like that, but he made them very, very large. I like this picture of him carrying the tube of toothpaste because it shows you the scale of how big he made things. And so pop art is an art movement that came after abstract art, and we've done some abstract art earlier this year. And so if you remember the abstract art, it doesn't really look like anything in particular. It's just a lot more about movement and about feelings and color. Well, pop art wanted to change that, and it wanted to do things that represented what was going on in the popular culture of that time. So pop art isn't about the things that we're experiencing now. It's about the things that they were experiencing back during that time period, which was in the 50s and 60s, okay? So with all of that, we're going to go backwards from his art style and go smaller. So we're going to make tiny foods really, really, really tiny. You're going to use Model Magic, and you do not need a lot. These 3 examples that I've made here, I literally made with little pieces of Model Magic about this big. So when your teacher gets the packs of Model Magic, I'm going to actually ask them to cut them into sections, okay? You do not need a bunch, and I don't want you to waste it. So we're going to just cut them up. I'm going to do a couple here. And then we're just going to make foods that you like. So I've done grapes and banana and a pizza, and I'm going to do a cupcake next. Okay? Now what I'd like you to do is mix the colors together to make other colors. You'll see we've got just our primary colors and white here. We've got red, yellow, blue, and white, and we can make every color from that. If, however, my kindergarten friends, my 1st grade friends are struggling with mixing the Model Magic colors, go ahead and use marker and twist it and mix it together like we've done before. But I'm going to make a cupcake. I'm going to use just a little bit of yellow. I'm going to move all of this out of the way. I'm going to do a little bit of yellow. I'm going to take a little bit of white. Probably going to make some purple because that's one of my favorite colors. A little bit of blue. Okay, now I'm going to make my cupcake cake part out of yellow and white because I like to have a white cake when I have a cupcake. I love chocolate, but I don't really like it as my cake. So I'm just going to kind of mix this together. I might need a little more white. I'm going to twist it. You can pull it. Just kind of work it together so that it makes kind of a lighter color, okay? I can keep mixing. I'm going to go like that. Now cupcake is kind of a circle, kind of a ball. I'm going to do it like that. Okay, I need to flatten my top though. And then I'm going to do some purple. So to make purple, we do red and blue. And I'm going to include some color charts or some color wheels so that you can see how to mix the colors, what colors go together to make other colors. And again, if you're a younger friend, you can use the markers, but my older friends, I'd really like you to experiment with mixing the colors. Okay, so there's a purple. If I wanted to make it a lighter purple, I could actually then add some white to it. And it'll lighten the shade a little bit. Let's add a little more. One of the other fun things you can do with this is if you wanted to weave or braid the colors together and not mix them. So I could actually roll that out. I could roll out this white and I could twist almost like a candy cane. That's something you could do too if you wanted to just show the two colors but not mix them. In fact, I could actually put that on there as my frosting. Give it kind of a swirly look. And then maybe I put a few sprinkles. Now, if you want to make something really small and straight, or really, really, really tiny, I use scissors. That cheese I put on my pizza, I cut with scissors. So maybe I'm adding a little sprinkles. When I've done this with other classes, I've had kids make entire McDonald's Happy Meals. Hamburger, fries, chocolate shake, and that was really cool. So figure out what your favorite foods are that you could make with Model Magic. There's my little cupcake. We've made waffles, we've made pancakes, we've done spaghetti and meatballs. There's an idea sheet that I'll send that has some ideas on it for you, but I really want you to be creative and come up with your own. Now, the next activity we have for sight also uses our memory. So we're going to use our brains. I'm going to scoot all of this over. And I call this what's missing. Okay? And what's missing is just that. We're going to figure out what is missing. So let me move these over a little bit. You're going to have a bag of random objects. And when I say random, they are random. A lot of these are from actually my son. When he was little, probably about your age, he would collect random weird things that he would find, and he'd have a shoebox full of them. And then as he got bigger, he didn't want that anymore, and I said, well, give it to me because I can use it for this game. So what's missing is a game you're going to play with a partner, okay? And so actually, I'm going to ask my video friend, Zach. He is going to be my partner, even though you can't see him, but he's going to be behind the scenes and he's going to help me with this one. I'm going to study these objects, okay? And I have to remember what they are, because in a minute I'm going to close my eyes and Zach is going to take one of them away, and then I have to tell him what's missing. Okay, so I have to study them with my eyes, I have to remember them with my brain, and then I have to figure out what isn't here anymore. So I'm going to study. Got a wheel, a ninja, patch, rock. And you can figure out your own way of best remembering it. Some people call them out loud. Some people just kind of bounce their head as they look back and forth and study them. All right, Zach's going to take one away.
All right, that's the one.
All right. Ooh. And you'd think because it was in the first spot that I looked at, I'd remember it, but I'm going to I think it's the Lego wheel. Is that right?
Lego wheel.
All right. Now, if I had gotten it wrong, is that okay? Absolutely. Just try it again, okay? You're going to take turns back and forth with your partner. It will start to get easier the more you do this. So then the trick is to take 2 things away and see if you can guess. And take 3 things away. Or put everything back in the bag, trade with another group of people so that you have some new items. I do this one a lot with kids, and I can tell you it's a fun one. You could spend almost the entire time just playing this game, but I want to make sure you do the Model Magic too. This is just kind of an extra thing if you get done early, or you've done your Model Magic and you're like, yeah, I don't want to make any more. You can try this game as well.